Okay, this is for VE Day celebrations and a discussion on World War Two and Hitler. Okay, so the majority of the analysis of Second World War is done by historians and everyone except criminologists. All right, so criminology has not got a slot in there about the Holocaust, what really happened there in this massive crime scene. So we now need to see it from a criminologist point of view and clear up some old facts that are completely wrong, and then hopefully sustain society much better than we are right now in the post apocalypse of the Second World War that we're going into right now, or we have been in the last 20 years. All right, so with the Holocaust, you'll notice in the photos of the Holocaust camps that there are no bodybuilders and there's no gays in those photos. All right, the photos, no bodybuilders there. Where are the bodybuilders in Germany? There's literally millions of them in Germany. So where are they in the Holocaust photos? It's because the bodybuilders are the ones taking those photos. They created the Holocaust. Okay, your gyms. All right, so the bodybuilders are fancied as the top man by the British upper classes. All right, a corner of the upper classes. That is not all of them, just a corner of it, and they're the gay communities, and they're very rich and very powerful. They created the Second World War to get the bodybuilders to kill all the Jews. That Jews represent women's rights and sexuality too, freedom, expression, that Germany is known for comes from the Jewish people, and the equity for women again comes from the Jewish people. The bodybuilders hate this. It doesn't include them. Well, it does, but it does. The bodybuilders are a gay group. No girls allowed, and if there are girls, they're going to be made very, very fat to equate with the bodybuilders' weight. So that's where obesity is coming from. Bodybuilders. They're also the pharmacy with lots of synthetically made compounds that can create fat storing in your body, industrial scale fat storing. And bodybuilders have created obesity, and that they are the real Holocaust creators too. All right, so now the train services are essential to the Second World War because they needed the train services for the Auschwitz to work and to be so efficient as it was. It was horrendously a fast running system, killing thousands every day. That's a very fast running system they got there, and they needed the train services to do that to ship them in to the concentration camps from the main towns and cities in Germany, throughout Europe as well. So they trained them all the way to Auschwitz, and so now the train services are involved in the Holocaust. They are the real Nazis, and actually the train services are still today in 2025 still the same Nazis that created the Holocaust, with all the same staff as well. So look at the staff of the train services. It's Southport murderer. All right, it's the African men and the gay communities and the bodybuilders. They created the Holocaust, killing over 6 million Jews brutally. All right, and they're actually in this bodybuilding group. There's a few Jewish people there too. They've created the Holocaust as well. So when they say Jewish people involved in the Holocaust, they really mean that there's a few bodybuilders in the Jewish community, and they hate slim, beautiful women, and these bodybuilders are gay. All right, so the Holocaust is a crime scene committed by the gay communities. All right, so the reason they're going for Jewish people, the bodybuilders, is because they're too slim. But the most imperative part of the reason they were murdered is because they represent women's rights. So Jewish people created women's rights archive from ancient India. All right, so now women are running their own businesses like they do in India, or they used to. All right, so and the Jewish people are very powerful, and their women are very powerful, and the gays and the British gays didn't like this, and they created a war with Hitler. Now Hitler uh, didn't was a Nazi party, but the Nazi party got raided when they found out who Hitler really was. Hitler was a Dutchman, actually from Amsterdam, and the head of the banks, and he repeatedly said, kill the Jews," but he's talking in code because you can't speak the truth in free speech in the 30s. It was too risky. There's too many witches about. They're killing kids every time you say stuff. So Hitler had to talk in code, and he said Jews. He means Jumbo, you shot. Jews. It's Jumbo, you shot. J-U shot. So he said kill the Jews. Jumbo, you shot. Whoever's killing Jumbo, Jumbo is head of the militaries in Germany, Holland, England, America, Russia, everywhere. All right, Jumbo is a head military man. All right, and then he was under attack by the homosexuals. Homosexuals don't like the women and heterosexual society, so they had the military are protecting heterosexual society. All right, so now the bodybuilders and gays and your gyms, they created Nazis to attack and kill people who are supporting women's rights. But the bodybuilders are not into women's rights at all. They created the Holocaust. They own the train services. They dedicated their life to killing all the Jews because the bodybuilders are a gay community, the dark side of the gay community. So the train services were involved in the Holocaust and they are still owning the train service. It's the same group. And look how many Africans work there. Okay, they're attacking Jewish women for Jewish women's rights. Nothing to do with white people. All right, it's women's rights. The gays cannot stand it. They want to destroy it, and they nearly did. That's what the Holocaust is all about: destroying women's rights, done by gay communities that raided the Nazis. They took it off Hitler. Hitler had no power in the Nazis. He would never have gone to war with the real Jewish people. He wanted to attack the witches that were killing kids in the German area. There was a lot of witchcraft going on prior to Second World War. That's why Hitler became very famous and loved because he told the German people he was going to get rid of that, and they loved him. That Germany doesn't like witches, homosexual witches. Okay, the witches are all homosexual. All right, so not all witches are homosexual, but generally when you say witch, you're talking about a homosexual. For instance, in the Wizard of Oz, you have a female witch there, but it's not really a female. It's representing a gay guy who's a gay paedophile. Look at those munchkins. Look how short they are. See, they're all paedophiles. So is that witch. He's a homosexual gay paedophile. And that's why it's depicted as a woman in the Wizard of Oz. All right, so now they created the Holocaust, the bodybuilders, and they own the train services. And today, there's a lot of black people working there, Africans, right, and bodybuilders. They are the Nazis. They're Nazis are not white people. Okay, the Nazis are not white people. The real Nazis, they are half African, and the Africans they killed a white man. So now the Nazis are doing everything possible to destroy Hitler and the white people, white Europe and America and Russia. So that and then the Hitler was talking in code when he said Jews. He means Jumbo, you shot. Jumbo is the head of the military in Germany. The German military is under attack. All right, and when the military gets attacked like that, that means the country has to go to war. All right, so that's what the Second World War and Hitler is all about. He went to Germany, told them about these witches, homosexual witches, killing people to attack Jumbo, who's the head of the military in Germany, England, America, Russia, and Europe. So, right. So that's what Zelensky's operation is right now. It's actually run by the British upper classes and they're Nazis. They're real life Nazis, still going at it like you've never seen, and they hate Russia. Okay, they're also going to turn their angle and then aim towards Sweden, France, Spain, England. This is what the Nazis are going to do after Zelensky's finished. All right, so when he's finished, he's now going to turn around and start attacking Germany, all the countries out there, because he's a Nazi. He hates women's rights. There's women's rights all over Europe. All right, so the train services are the real Nazis, and they still are the Nazis today. And you can see who the Nazis are. There's no white people there. There's a few, but they're mostly bodybuilders and gays. All right, and the other guys are Africans. Those are the Nazis. Right now, they hate the white people because they're excelled. The art industry, the art industry loves women. The Africans are favoured by the British upper classes that are the gay communities. Certainly, the Africans in Europe are the gay army. It's a gay army, right? They created the Holocaust to kill Jewish people that represents women's rights. They don't want women's rights to spread around the world. This is a very uh, the gays are paranoid about it. I don't know why they're paranoid about it. Nothing wrong with women's rights. It shouldn't affect gays at all. But however, the gays want to own everything, so then it might affect them. So now they've gone to war with the number one for women is Hitler. It's because he's from Holland, Amsterdam, and the women's equity is at its most extreme in Holland. You are totally equal to the men in Holland, all right? And now Holland is coming into Germany called Hitler, and now the gays are desperately paranoid schizophrenics, all of them, and they went out to kill Hitler, who loved women, who wanted to release some freedom, get rid of these homosexual witches killing kids at three and four at a time, which was prevalent during before the Second World War. Witches were killing loads of kids. That's why Hitler became very popular, because Germany hates these child killers, all right, these witches, the homosexuals, by the way. All right, and the homosexuals now are still in power. Nazis are still in power. They are Charles Saatchi at the advertising industry on your telly. All those adverts are done by the Nazis. And it's actually Africa insulting everyone out there, including Jamaicans. They're getting insulted by the Africans and the Saatchi TV advertising industry that own the train services. So anytime you don't like what they're saying on the TV advertising, they're brainwashing people. When you don't like that and you can object to it, you either go to Charles Saatchi's offices, which is parallel to Gower Street in central London, or you can tackle the train services that are also owned by Charles Saatchi, that wants to turn all of Europe black so they can make them bigger for homosexual sex reasons. That's what the Second World War was all about, homosexual sex. Germans are too slim for it. Our whole of Europe is too slim. So the British Nazis that invaded the Nazi Party in Germany started slandering everyone, killing everyone. They're too slim. Hitler wasn't doing that. Hitler had another message. He was doing something else. He was getting rid of the homosexual witches, killing 3 and 4 kids at a time. Very prevalent before the Second World War. You'll see a lot of films talking about the desperation that they were causing. It caused a huge economic depression in America as well, the Great Depression, which lasted for about, I don't know, a long time, 60 to 70 years, culminating in the Second World War, which is Hitler wanting to go to America to end that depression, and then he was destroyed before he could do that. So the British Nazis, the gay communities, invaded the Nazi Party in Germany, and then started killing Jews based on what Hitler was saying. But Hitler was talking in code. Nobody knows what code is really. So when Hitler said kill the Jews, it looks like he's saying kill the Jews, but Hitler is a quarter Jewish himself. His kids went off to marry Jewish women. Hitler doesn't hate Jewish people. He's talking in code next to witches that are killing 3 and 4 kids at a time for free speech. All right, so Hitler spoke in code. Jumbo, you shot is Jews. Jumbo, EW, and an S. Jumbo, you shot is Jews. That's what Hitler means when he says Jews. It's talking about jumbo head of the militaries in Germany. Anyone's attacking the military in any country, that means war. Right, that country has to go to war because the enemy has decided to go to war with Germany by attacking their military. So this is what Hitler coming along, who spoke to the militaries and said, we must go to war and not allow the homosexual child killers to ruin our countries. And that's what Hitler was all about. He became very popular because the country was rifled with child killers and homosexuals doing the worst and evil sexuality that they have. They don't want it in Germany. That became very popular, Amsterdam, Hitler. All right, women's rights and equity, something that Germany didn't have when they were under before the Nazis. And then they raided Hitler's Nazi party, got rid of Hitler. Hitler had to leave the war because it became a sham. Nothing to do with what Hitler was about. So he escaped. He got out. He had to. He had no choice. They were killing millions of Jews. He couldn't do anything to stop it. He must have tried to do something, but what he had to do is immediately get out of the war. No more Nazis have no leader anymore because of what the British upper classes, the fox hunting community, raided the Nazis in Germany. Don't like Amsterdam. Don't like women's rights. Especially hate Hitler. Right? They bullied him severely while he was in the Nazi party. And then he escaped and he went back to his home country, Holland, Amsterdam. He owns the banks. Hitler is the owner of the banks. And the British gays went to, and they're in the Nazi party in Germany. They went to war with Hitler to steal his banks. Now all the banks that are owned by Holland are now owned by the train services. That's like half of Africa. They've owned all the white people's banks, and now the white people are being starved to death. And we all very much know what poverty is when we shouldn't know anything about it. We're extremely rich. We own the banks, but the train services, the Nazis, have stolen it off us. Train services are but led by Africa. So Africa says kill all the white people long before the Holocaust. They're still saying it now. Right, so the Nazis that created the Holocaust, and then Hitler hated them, and he got out of the war after 7 years. Well, these Nazis are still around today, and the Nazi hunters haven't quite found them all. Right, so they're in the hospitals. Don't forget the Nazis are the upper class group, or a corner of the upper classes that hate the royal family. So the corner of the upper classes includes doctors and lawyers. They are the real Nazis, and they got away with genocide. They're in the hospitals in 2025, and they're operating a second Holocaust. Yes, they are. There's lots of evidence they're doing this again. They're using a different method. This time it's COVID, Alzheimer's disease, AIDS, obesity. It's concentration camp. It's another concentration camp, and it's coming from the hospitals with the upper classes, the doctors and the lawyers, GPs. Not all doctors are assigned by the upper classes, but about 90% of them are in your hospital. They're all Nazis, especially the psychiatry department. Dr. Desai at the Blackpool Psychiatry Department, he saluted the Nazi salute at me. Surely that's very illegal. Right, and then his assistant is a big guy. He's bigger than Mike Tyson. Steve Albrecht. He says my artwork is shit. He calls my artwork shit. So that's also the Nazis. They also call the artwork shit. Right, they hate an artwork because it focuses on beautiful women. And then that Nazis, as we know, the train services, most of Africa, they hate beautiful women. Certainly, the gay people hate beautiful women. Right, they want big cock for anal sex, and they've chosen Africa, and then Africa says kill all the white men, and then they created the Holocaust, twisted it, blamed the head of the white man, head of Holland, Hitler, and now Hitler is being destroyed en masse, actually by the train services, who are the real Nazis. They got rid of Hitler, and blamed white people for the Holocaust when it was done by a semi-African group all along, like the Southport murderers. Look at him. There he is. He's a Nazi. Look at what he's doing to the white people, right? And their kids. This is what made Hitler really big in the 1920s and 30s, was exactly that type of crime. Except the guy there wasn't an African. In Germany, he was a homosexual. And he's killing 3 little girls like that. Right? So that's going on prevalently before the Second World War. They're very sick, mentally ill. They became doctors and lawyers. They became the psychiatry department, killing kids. What are they doing objecting to other people's mental status when they are child killers, masturbating over that? The sickest people on earth in criminology terms, psychiatry, they're the Nazis. So the Dr. Desai at the Harbour Hospital at the Gateway, he saluted me, a Nazi salute. He's one of the Nazis. Right? And his best friend and associate is Steve Albrecht. He's a big guy, bigger than Mike Tyson. He's one of the people that are trying to recreate a Holocaust. They certainly hate the white people. They hate Britain, big time. Now, Desai is a psychiatrist at the at the Gateway Mental Health Unit, and he saluted the Nazi salute. So the psychiatry department is your repeat of history. The train services, they did the Holocaust, and psychiatry is almost instigating it again. They're doing it again. They did the first one, now it's the next one. And basically, Desai is this conduit of the upper classes that created the Holocaust. And they always were attacking Hitler. They don't like Hitler. The Nazis hate Hitler. He's from Holland, Hitler. Hitler was a Dutchman, and he come from Holland. And there's Amsterdam, lots of women, equity, women doing exactly what they want, which is how it should be, right? And that those gay communities and the upper class and gays, they hate that, and they decided they had to go to war with that. Why, I don't know, but it doesn't make sense. Progression is what women's rights is. Why do you go to war with progression? So now there's another reason that the Desire saluted Nazi at me, and why the Nazis uh, attacked Hitler, because Hitler was Dutch and he's the head of Holland. Whoever's the head of Holland owns the banks. So that's the richest country in the world, Holland. Right? And the head of Holland is actually Hitler. So anyone who indicts Hitler and succeeds wins all the banks too. So all the lawyers and doctors, the bad side of the upper classes, they created the Holocaust and then blamed Hitler for it, and then stole his Dutch banks. Now the Africans in the train services are owning the banks. They're extremely rich. They do not need any subsidy at all. No, they don't need any government help. Yet they're asking for 80 billion to create a new rail line, which they don't need. They're just going to put that money in their pocket. The gay community and the bodybuilders and half of Africa. So the Nazis of the Holocaust, they were killed off by the Nazi hunters that got rid of them. But then they didn't get rid of them all, because they're all the upper classes, you see. So wherever the upper classes are, solicitors, pub landlords, hospital managers and doctors, uh, uh, and the bodybuilders group for anal sex. Apparently, all the British women are too slim for anal sex. Now she's fat, made fat by the bodybuilders. It's a fact. The bodybuilders is also pharmacy in the hospitals and Nazis. They can use fat storing compounds that run in your bloodstream, coming in through sunblock or any face cream, and you'll permanently be putting on weight. You can't get rid of it. It's essentially murder. It's genocide. Right now, the Dr. Desai and the psychiatry department are a genocide group, and he actually saluted me because he's attacking me. All right. Now, the reason he's attacking me is because my dad is the son of Adolf Hitler. Now, Hitler, as we know, escaped the war because they were lying about him. Hitler said kill the Jews. He means kill anyone who's attacking the military in Germany, like the homosexuals were. Like they were killing 3 kids at a time to intimidate the German army. And Germany had enough of these homosexuals. And then Hitler comes along to bring a breath of air for Europe, not only Germany. And then the gays did everything possible to pull him down. And they used the trickster, the liar, homosexual lies. And next thing you know, Hitler's disappeared. And then all the white people are now starving in 2025. And we can't reverse it. This is a trickster. This is the train services, the upper class and bodybuilders. They've created the Holocaust. And they're doing it again. This time it's going to be 5 times bigger. Right, so the police and mental health staff, female nurses, to get in and get Dr. Desai and extradite him from the country. He's trying to create another Holocaust. He's attacking the head of the white people. All right, now that's illegal. All right, because the white people created the universities and the hospitals, literature, dance, art, and music. And Dr. Design Psychiatry Group are Central Africa. All right, they just literally hate everything except 9-year-old boys for homosexual sex. It's the most homosexual countries in the world is Africa, with Morocco, biggest homosexual country in the world. All right, now Desai is from the homosexual group, so is his associate Steve Albrecht is a bodybuilder. Right, they're gays, and they're creating another Holocaust, and they're threatening anyone who's representing white people. All right, so the head of Holland is actually Hitler, and that Hitler had 12 kids. He didn't die at the end of the Second World War, like they say. He actually got out of the war, and he went back to Holland and then had 12 kids. And one of those kids is my dad. He's called Wim, a Dutch guy, very nice guy. He would never hurt a Jewish person. He married an Israeli woman. He likes Jewish people. They lied about him. All right, he doesn't hate Jewish people. He was talking in code. The Jewish people were under attack by the bodybuilders before Second World War, and when Hitler came along talking in code, he had to, and then they double crossed him, and then they killed all the Jews, and then blamed Hitler for it, and then the people that killed the Jews, the Nazis, the upper class, then stole all the banks after the Second World War, all the car companies, all the electronic companies, and more. So all of that is now owned by Africa. The banks are owned by Africa, train service owned by Africa, properties, everything. Electronic industry is owned by Africa. They literally snatched it off the white people after the Second World War, after using the trickster against them, blaming them for the Holocaust. It had nothing to do with the Holocaust. It was a ploy by serious criminals. And they are in the worst criminals that I've ever seen are the upper classes. They're totally inhumane. So that's what the Holocaust is, totally inhumane, and to blame other people for it, that's another inhumane thing to do. All done by the British upper classes that raided the German Nazis, don't want Hitler or Amsterdam to do well, or women. It's their attacks on women. Right? So when they blame, for now, Hitler, now white people have no leader, never will. It will always be impossible. The EU treaties have made sure that there will never be a leader in Europe. So now it's chaos only. And the only people that lead Europe are the bodybuilders and gays. And they're bringing in all the Africans and all the immigrants that have been brought in by your bodybuilders and your gyms and gay people. And they're attacking Hitler and the white people. So you might be asking yourself, who are the Nazis in today's world? Who are the Nazis that the Nazi hunters couldn't get to? It's such a big job getting the Nazis. They didn't have that. They're still halfway in the process of getting those Nazis in 2025. We have a lot more work to do, right? Because those Nazis that created the Holocaust then blame the white people. Well, those Nazis are the train services that still are today. And half their staff are Africans and the other half are gays. It's the same with the hotels. They're also stolen by the Nazis. All right, now, so the train services are the Nazis, bodybuilders, and they're also the councils, and they're the men in the councils, the council workers in yellow. They are the real life Nazis that the Nazi hunters haven't got to. Right, so and they're also, these workers in yellow, also a conduit of the upper classes that created the Holocaust, and they're going to try, and they are trying to do it again. They're repeat offenders, basically. Certainly, Dr. Desai's psychiatry department, all the psychiatrists out there are hardcore Nazis. They're planning to create another Holocaust. They own the train services. They're going to ship all the Queen's people out, not just Jewish people. If they're going for Spanish people, they're going for the Queen's people and Jewish people in this second episode of a Holocaust making by your bodybuilders, the homosexual communities. So currently, as I say, my dad is the son of Adolf Hitler and he's an innocent man. Right? He married Israeli people. I have a Jewish girlfriend. My dad never said a bad word about Jewish people. He didn't create the Holocaust. Right, it's all a lie by the gays and the trickster Africans that have stolen the banks of head of Holland. My dad is the head of Holland, and we own the banks. I'm called Max. I'm my dad's son. My dad, he named me Max. Right, so ATM machines, we own the banks, by the way, because we're from Holland. ATM machines is at Max. You see, the Nazis have stolen the banks. They're specifically attacking England and the Queen's people and the royals. All right, so now all the banks have been stolen by the gay communities and Africa. The banks should be owned by the Queen's people, not Africans. They've just stolen it like that. of the Dutch people. But you know, they're very aggressive thuggery is all they know, and that these Africans are African voodoo. That includes slavery. Slavery is from part of African voodoo. It has nothing to do with on people, yoga, or the white people, or Holland. And that the banks should go back to us. We didn't create the slave trade, nor did we create the Holocaust. So the banks must go back to Max, and that means that all the white people will see the end to their poverty. All right, in America, Europe, and Russia. So where are these Nazis in today's world? Well, first of all, they're in the hospital, so they're doctors and lawyers and psychiatrists and solicitors and pub managers and hotel managers. Okay, that's your Nazis in today's world, and they're not in prison, nor are they dead when legally they should be dead. They get the death sentence. That's a legal law society. Okay, so they're out. They're out because they haven't been caught yet. Okay, all right. So now So the Nazis are still out there, and they're doctors and lawyers and solicitors, and in the hospitals, the Nazis have labs, Nazi labs, that create synthetic compounds that have created obesity, COVID, Alzheimer's disease, bird flu. All right, Alzheimer's disease is an attack to Jewish people. Done by the Nazis in British hospitals. Alzheimer's is code. It's Heimer's shot. Right? That's what Alzheimer's is. Direct attack to British Jewish people. And then it's in America and throughout Europe. So you've got also obesity is also created by the Nazis inside your hospital, psychiatry, that creating synthetic compounds that make you store fat, like you were in the Ice Age. So you've got extreme fat storing properties now inside your body, and that also changes your DNA. It's essentially genocide and murder. And this is created by psychiatry department that are constantly attacking the hosting countries. Desire is part of Africa, and so is Steve Albrecht and all the bodybuilders. They're all part of Africa. Their boyfriend is Africa, when they get together, they create a Holocaust wherever they are. One point they were in Germany, now they're in England. We've got a Holocaust going on right now in England. Loads of people in Manchester and Liverpool, Scotland are homeless and dying painful deaths right now. And having their benefit cuts is going to double the death rate. The suicide rate is going to double. And these are Nazis doing that. The Nazis that stole the bank, extremely rich. We don't need to circumvent our public like that. We are very rich. The owners of the banks are very rich. Right, so the owners of the banks are the bodybuilders and gay community stolen it off Hitler. Is the Dutch people. Okay, so now the Dutch are always under attack by Africans because the Africans say that the Dutch created slavery. Well, it didn't create slavery. It's another trickster lie. Slavery is part of African voodooism. All right, and it's hated in Africa as well. But however, it runs Africa. Slavery is from Africa. It has nothing to do with white people. Certainly not the art world. So the Nazis in today's world include Dr. Desire and all the psychiatrists at the Gateway Mental Health Unit in Blackpool, and they are basically the gay communities, and they're specifically attacking Hitler. So why are the Nazis attacking Hitler like this? Well, they've been attacking Hitler for a good 40 years, and it's grievous attacks. They're killing people around Hitler. The Nazis are killing people around Hitler to intimidate Hitler. Okay, that's the true story of the criminologist's reality. It's nothing to do with media analysis on the Holocaust, which is all rubbish. You'll never find out what happens. Right, so the reason that Hitler is under attack is because he's from Holland, and that he represents women's rights and women. Right, and then I'm currently being attacked by Nazis, Dr. Desai, and the psychiatry department, and the doctors in the hospitals are grievously attacking me. They're sending in Category A prisoners, cracking heroin people, to kill people and women around me because the gay community hate women. They don't want women empowerment anywhere in England. So now I'm totally imprisoned. I'm not allowed to go out without being attacked by Dr. Desai Psychiatry and his Category A prisoners, the gay communities. So you have to ask yourself, why are the Nazis, the gay communities, why are they attacking Hitler, their leader? Look, they're trying to kill him. They tried to kill Hitler's son about a year ago. They tried to murder him. All right? And they've tried to kill him about 3 times. The Nazis have. They hate Hitler. All right? Hitler represents women's rights. He's from Holland. He is the SS and all the women out there. All right? The gays are killing 3 little girls at a time to destroy heterosexuality. These gays are desperately sick and very paranoid. These guys became the doctors and the GPs in your hospitals, and they're the psychiatry department. They're killing kids all over the place, and they're also the Law Society. Now, they're also the gay bars. They've created the Holocaust. They're specifically attacking me. I'm Adolf Hitler's son. Adolf Hitler, grandson rather. Adolf Hitler had a son called Wim from Holland, and he adopted me. I'm called Max, and we own the banks. My dad is the head of Holland. I'm now the head of Holland, and we've had it all stolen off us. I'm called Max, at Max, ATM machines, and the psychiatry department saluted at me. They think no one's watching, so they don't mind. The Nazi hunters can't catch them, they're saying. Really? Well, you're caught. We know where you are. You're at the Gateway Mental Health Hospital. You're about 5 psychiatrists there, all placed by a group that had done the Holocaust, that are real life Nazis. And they're working every day. British are paying their wages. Quite a lot of money they're getting every week. And then this Dr. Desire is a real life Nazi and he's attacking Hitler. He can't stand Hitler. He's tried to kill him 3 times. So these bodybuilders and gays that created the Holocaust, there's actually a couple of Jewish people in there as well, because they're gays, gay Jewish people. They also created the Holocaust. However, the Holocaust was generally created by bodybuilders, and this includes Charles Saatchi, head of the TV advertising world, and he basically is a real life Nazi. All his messages in his TV advertising is insinuating and visualizing putting British people into concentration camps. You just have to pay attention to these adverts. All right, know who's doing it. It's actually a real life Nazi. He's Charles Saatchi. His offices and building is parallel to Gower Street in central London, West 1. Anyone can go there, and when you go there, only African staff in there. Okay, African women, African men. That's all he's got in there. And it's the TV advertising industry. And they're the Holocaust. Only African stuff, and they say kill the white man. To blame him for that, blame him for this, blame him for this. Then steal that, then steal that, then steal that, all off the white man. Now we're starving to death in Britain and America and Europe, and the people that are rich, Africans. And they're gays, and they're bodybuilders are stinking rich. They're stolen the hotels of the Hitler. Hitler was the head mason in Europe. So when you're a head mason, you're head of the Architects Association, and you're really the head landlord to all the properties throughout throughout Hitler's countries, which include America, Britain, all of Europe. Right, so all the properties out there, including hotels, actually owned by the head architect, and that was chosen to be Hitler. Hitler was an architect as well. He was part of the Architects Association. But then it all got stolen off him. So whatever Hitler owned is now owned by Africans. That then blamed the white people for this, for that, for this, for that, and none of it was that for them. Certainly Africans created slavery and the Holocaust. Over and out.